Okay, hello guys. Today in a little bit different setup because I wanted to show you up close how exactly I played my last cover, Never Fade Away. Because well, the video turned out a little bit darker than I anticipated, so I decided to record this follow-up slash bonus video when I would break down the entire beat that I played there. So, right from the start, I should mention that to make it more percussion-like rather than drum kit-like, I programmed this pad to play the kick. Here's the hi-hat and here's the snare. I wanted to have the kick as a hand, to make it more percussive. I mean, more percussion style of playing, rather than drum kit to have the kick on the leg. So, just for the lingo's sake, I will be referring to this sound as a bass, not as a kick, because, well, it's no kick, it's just bass. So, okay, in general, there is a one main beat going on throughout the song, and it goes like this. And there is also a variation that goes on mostly in the choruses and in the first verse. Sorry. So this is actually a main beat, and this is a variation. But okay, the second bit is a little bit more complex. It goes like this. So let's start from the second beat, since this is a little bit more complex. But I would say that the first beat is almost the same. The kicks are a little bit different. Just the variations are added in the other beat. Like I said, there's a difference in the kicks because the less complex, simpler beat has those kicks further apart. It's and the more complex one has this more hard beat, like this as of. So but apart from that and those variations, they are more or less the same beat. So like you probably already can see, I have to play the kick and snare with one hand, just for the sake of this hi-hat in the more complex beat. When I have to ram it really fast here and play the kicks in there. So I couldn't really make it like this. To play the kick with right hand, snare with left, for example. I had to keep both of those at one hand, to keep the hi-hat going. So let's break it down, basically. So this main beat, the basic beat, comes with two bars. So the first thing is kick, bass. Sorry, is bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass. So we have this is so basically this part is very simple. I mean, in general, the beat of this song, when you break it down to the parts, individual parts are very simple. It only goes to sticking them all together when it becomes a little bit more difficult. Because here, the first part is just kick, snare, that's it. And then you have this kick, kick, snare, kick. And I think this is the most difficult part of this beat, this quick transition between snare and the kick, because otherwise you have basic beat, if not for that, and of course the constantly this pulsing hi-hat going on. Okay, so now let's add the variables that make the main beat. And that is the single strokes on the bass, and then the hi-hat. So the single strokes come after every snare in the main part, and on the bridge after every other snare. So it goes like this. Yes, and the hi-hat follows up after every of those kicks, bass ramming. And here I just played, you know, the basic single stroke rolls. I guess you can also play it as a double stroke. Sorry. But I'm just more comfortable with single strokes. And then comes the hi-hat, where I played it basically as a blast beat sort of thing, you know? Because you have to go very fast with one hand, so blast beats was where I went to. And just to show you, no, I have too small of an angle, sorry. But okay, so not on the pad, but just up in the air. I played the hi-hat part, you know, with just with the fingers, not like, you know, the full roll from the wrists. You know, you have to get the fingers going. And like I said, the hi-hat always follows up the single strokes here, and they go after every snare in the main part, and on the bridge before the last chorus, you have them after every other snare, when you just skip the kicks and there's a standalone snare drums. So again, the main beat goes with like this. Now let's add the variables. And like I said, you have to keep in mind that when you're doing this hi-hat single strokes, there is no... The kicks are closer, they are in this heartbeat manner, you know, it's not just those basic kicks, you know, they are closer together, and that also makes it slightly difficult. And the other sound that I used is also here, the crash cymbal, but I think I used it only once or twice by the end of the song, so you can skip it if you want to. I just added it, you know, to get a little bit more flavor. And I just switched here this setup of sticks, you know, just went like this, you know, play the kick. You know, so you can see this is quite a smooth transition. And well, basically this is how I played it. And also there is this fill at the end going when you have this snare kick snare, you know, half a paradiddle sort of fill. And here, here I had to swap, you know, the hands and played like I mentioned at the beginning, you know, like I wanted to play but couldn't, with snare on the left, kick on the right hand. But you know, the feel again is simple. It's left, right, right, left. You know, half a paradiddle. So basically, that's it. That's the beat from Never Fade Away. Thank you for listening. I hope I made it more or less clear. And see you next week in the next cover. Bye.